So in the first video, we briefly discussed the idea of limiting yourself to specific rules or certain scale modes and things like that to come up with original ideas and not to fall into a trap of muscle memory, which is such an easy thing to do. And we came up with this chromatic idea, right? So let's see how we can develop further on that. So one thing you can do is, what I'll usually do is, in a track that is more of a short format track, which means 2 to 3 minutes, I will have a main theme, which is A theme, and a B section, and then I'll either modulate them or bring in the A section and make it a little bit bigger. What you can do is, for example, you can take the main idea and you can modulate it. So if you were to start with that idea that we started with, which is the chromatic, you can then see which key would work well as a succession to that progression. So for example, you can go to D, or you can go to C, or anything like that. So it's just up to you to play around with that idea in different keys and then play them back to back and see what works. And then back to E to A. You can also use these as kind of a call and response thing, but in this example the C works really well. But what I'll usually do is I won't play the same iteration of the idea, but I'll change it up a little bit. So for example, if I play this original idea in A and then I go to C, I'll change it up a little bit, for example like this. We can go up. I can go back to A to return to the home. So let's say you have that. Then what? Okay, well, what I don't want to put pressure on myself, so I usually have an A section and a B section. And actually for the track I'm currently writing, it turns out that this whole idea would be a B section. And for the A section, I actually have come up with a more uplifting, like a happier theme, because I'm currently working on a Christmas album. So this theme is also in A. So the whole track is in A, but it modulates a lot, as you'll see later on. And the main idea is actually this. So it's pretty simple, and of course, excuse my sloppy playing, but I'll do the same thing. I can take that idea and I'm not going to just repeat it, but if I bring it to another key, for example to D, right, then I already have some movement. So this is I have two themes. I have the chromatic one, which is like a calmer, and I have a happier theme, which is this one. And this is quite, if you're thinking time-wise, this is already quite a lot. You can, this gives you a lot to work with, and you can really add up to the time with these modulations. So I would start with the main theme, which is, just this main thing. Okay, then what? It's a little too soon to go to the B theme. So as I was writing this track, this second part of the A theme came kind of naturally, and I'll just go from this main theme into the second part of the A theme, which is a little calmer, but it works really well as a transition time to get back into the main theme. But let me show you what I mean. So we have the main thing. Then one octave down. And then I go back into the main theme, but I switch over to E major. And now it's time for the B section, right? So you see how I have like the main theme, and then I switch it up. And now it's kind of like the time wise, you feel that the energy has come to the point, for it to calm down a little bit. So I'll play this main section from the E major, and then we'll go into the B section, which is the original idea that we started with, which is the chromatic one. And then again, you can modulate that, and you have to try out which keys work. So if you try, I think we had C, yeah, so we had C major, A major, and then going into C major. So let me just play from the original one. Back to A major. And then we can go back into this would be the time where we go back into the main theme, but we make it bigger. So this would be the final section of the track, which is then, comes up with full power, and then goes back into the main thing, which is again, you can modulate. So that would be kind of the layout of the track. So let me just play the whole thing. So that's how I wrote it. And I actually didn't write the whole thing on the piano. So my process is, when I hear an idea, I will go straight into the DAW and I'll find the instrument that I'm hearing. But we'll get back to that in a minute there. So let me play the whole thing on the piano, so you see the structure of it, how it's structured, how the themes develop and they modulate, and then how, just to give you an overview idea of the track. So we start with the main theme, which is this one. see. So that's the whole track. And then in the next video, we'll go in and I'll show you which instruments I used for which section and why. And then we'll also go through the whole final track in the DAW so you can see how it turned out in the end. Thanks.